All right, number 3, we've got g of x this time equaling the absolute value of x, and we do have a restriction of our x's being between -3 and +2, including the -3, not including the 2. All right, so let's take a look at what happens here. Remember our absolute value graph. If you're going to put in any values into this equation, let's say for instance 0, absolute value of 0 is 0. So let's get a point on a 0.00. If you put in a +1, you get a +1. So you got a point at 1, 1. You put in a +2, you get a +2. So let's put a point at 2, 2. How about the negatives? You put in a -1. The absolute value of -1 is 1. All right, so you got a point at -1, 1. And then, of course, -2, +2. And then -3, +3, etc. So what you have here is a V-shaped object, right? Your graph looks like a V. So it's going to look a little bit like this, and a little bit like that. Get some arrow tips on the end of this here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to apply our restriction. All right, so our x value is going to be at -3. So go to -3 on the graph, right, where x is -3, y is +3, and we're going to include that point. So I'm going to put a nice dark dot right here at -3, +3. Then I'm going to go over to +2, right, and wherever our y value for +2 is. Remember, that's 2, 2. And since we're not including that domain, that x value, I want an open circle on that point. Right, so make sure it's really clear for the reader. And then we want everything in between there. All right, so we're just going to kind of shade this piece of the graph in, highlight this piece of the graph here. Once again, if you want to erase all the excess, you can, all this business right here. You just kind of get rid of that. Over here on the right, clean it up a little bit, and that's our graph. All right, so maybe we could finish this up here in time here. G of -2. G of -2 would be +2, right? That's the absolute value of -2 equals 2. Our domain is from -3 to 2, including the -3, but not the 2. Our range, how far up are we going on this range? That's going to +3, right? And we're going to include that. How far down are we here? This is our lowest point here, right? So that's going to be 0. And we also include the 0, right? Our graph actually crosses right through 0. Do we have any x-intercepts? Yes, 0, 0. Any y-intercepts? Yes, 0, 0. And again, is this continuous? Can I put my pen on the far left and draw all the way through to the far right? I'll change colors for you. In other words, if I were to graph this right here, did I ever lift my pen up? Never lifted my pen up. So yes, this graph is continuous. All right, good luck with your homework.